Hello you guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emily and I post a ton of bookish content along with lately a lot of moving vlogs because I bought a house. So it's been really busy, very exciting. But yes, if you are new here, I'm Emily, and if you are not new here, welcome back. Happy to have you. So we are going to be doing kind of like a mashup of two different types of book videos for this because I didn't really get a lot of reading done over the last month just with moving, like I said. So we're going to be doing a little July wrap-up, August TBR, as well as a little book haul, because why not? So we are going to start with the books that I did read in July. I don't have 4 of them with me, but I'll just talk about them first. It is the Heartstopper series. It was so cute, you guys. I read it in like 3 days. It was very easy to read. I read it on Webtoon. I may eventually get the books because I do want to support the author, of course, but she actually was the one who put it on Webtoon years and years ago. I read it on there and I adored it. Like, I know there's another volume coming out, volume 5 at some point, but volumes 1 to 4 were all 4 stars for me. I just loved it so much. I've never really read graphic novels before, which is why I didn't give it a 5 out of 5. I'd also just I don't know if graphic novels will ever be able to be 5 out of 5s for me, just because the amount of depth and descriptiveness and all that isn't really there with graphic novels. But I really liked the art and the story, and I am watching the show right now and it's so cute. I think that everyone who was casted was pretty well perfect. Heartstopper, if you are not aware, is about 2 boys, one who is already outed as gay and another one who is a rugby player who is straight to everyone as of right now, and they become really good friends because they sit next to each other in their homeroom class. Nick is a rugby guy and Charlie is the one who is already outed. They kind of form this bond, become really great friends, and Nick gets really confused with his sexuality, and it kind of just follows their relationship as it grows, as it develops, all the drama that comes with it. I will say there are a lot of trigger warnings, obviously, for homophobia. There is some for eating disorders as well, but overall, I think that this graphic novel series is such a great way for teens and even a little bit younger to kind of, understand what happens when you decide to come out as gay. I really did appreciate this book, and I think that it could teach a lot of people that it's okay to be yourself, and that even though there are going to be people who might judge you, go for it. So Heartstopper were the first 4 books that I read, and I adored them. 4 out of 4 star. The next books that I read, I do have physical forms of. So the first one being Maggie Moves On by Lucy Score. This, again, was another 4 out of 5 read for me. I loved this book. If you're not aware of what it's about, it is about this woman named Maggie who has a YouTube channel where she flips houses in different cities all across America. And she decides to go to Kinship, Idaho to do the next one, where she meets Silas, who is a landscaper that she ends up hiring to help with the house. And it's a little bit insta-lovey for me. That, plus a little bit of cringiness when it came to the smut, were reasons why I didn't give this a 5 out of 5. But it was nonetheless really great. There was a really great found family in this book. And yeah, the smut was good. The plot was good. The humor was good. I really can't complain, and I just thought it was the perfect timing for me to read it since I was moving and knew I was going to be renovating a house. Every so often, I have to stop talking and breathe because I'm sick right now, so bear with me. The next book that I read in July was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. So, if you're not aware, this is a YA fantasy series, has 3 different books, so it is a trilogy, and we decided to read this for Lost in the Plot's book club pick for July. It was a 3.5 out of 5, so it wasn't amazing to me, it wasn't mind-blowing, but I did enjoy reading it nonetheless. A few of my favorite things about this were the character development and also just how well Holly Black did kind of introducing us to the characters in this book. The only thing that I wasn't I love this book is, one, it was a little bit confusing at times, just trying to figure out what was going on with the characters and the plot and all that. And the fact that it's a YA, it makes me nervous because I'm 25 and it was confusing me. So, I don't know. Also, it confused other people in the book club too who are older, so I just don't know if I would consider this like a really well-written YA, or if it's too confusing for younger readers. But it was still really, really entertaining. I liked the romance, I liked the action, the drama. It was really great. Another thing that I really did enjoy in this book is the fact that the mortal world was more like 2000s, and it wasn't like in the 18th century or anything like that. I don't really know how to describe it. Yeah, there were like malls. It was talking about putting ketchup on fries, stuff like that we do now, and not something that where they live in like little villages and like have to go hunt for food. Like, that is interesting, and that happens a lot in fantasy, like ACOTAR, for example. But in this one, it was just a lot more modern, more new, and then the fairy world, the immortal world, was still very much so immortal, like you would see in every other fantasy. So I just thought that was interesting, and I am excited to continue reading this. I do have the second book, which is in this pile back here. Yeah, it was a 3.5. Nothing crazy for me, but it was enjoyable. Not a new favorite, but still good. And the last book that I finished kind of in July and leading into August was Beatrix. You guys, I read it, and I will tell you, it was a 5 out of 5. I actually didn't read it, I will admit. I read like a quarter of this book, and then I listened to the audiobook for the rest, only because we had inventory at work, and I was allowed to do whatever I wanted. Like, I could listen to music, an audiobook, a podcast. So I decided to download Audible and listen to this. Literally just this. I got the free trial, and that was it. I'm not really an audiobook person, but this book was amazing. So in this book we follow January Andrews and Augustus Everett. He writes more literary fiction, she writes more rom-com, and they're both going through it for a lot of different reasons. But essentially, January ends up having this lake house that she stays at for the summer and is trying to write her next big rom-com, and her neighbor is Augustus. So they were rivals in school back in college, and now they don't really get along at first, but they decide to make a deal that they're going to write each other's genres, help each other out by like going on these day trips or dates. So for him, they go to interview a bunch of people who were in this like cult years ago, and then for her, they go on cute little rom-com-esque dates to kind of help each other write their opposite genres. And in the synopsis, it says, everyone will finish a book and no one will fall in love, really. And that got me. That's all I'm going to say. 5 out of 5. So that was all I read in July. Like I said, it was a busy month, so I didn't really read too much, but we're going to go into my August TBR now. So first thing, I actually just started reading, and that is my friend Hannah's new book, The Secret of Marky Beach. This is a YA thriller mystery with a little bit of romance added in, and you know what? I'm going to read the synopsis for you because it's better than me trying to explain it, and I just want you guys to get the entire grasp of this book, and I want you to go buy it because I want her to get all the support she deserves. She is such a talented writer, and this is her debut book, so she definitely deserves all the hype that she can get. So I'll read the synopsis for you guys. It says, 7 girls went missing one night in 1998. That's what 18-year-old Alana Collins learns. Although she's lived in the small beach town of Marky Beach her entire life, no one has ever mentioned the mysterious tragedy to her before. That is until she begins to see strange girls with matching tattoos on their collarbones everywhere she goes. Summer was meant to be simple, working at her father's marina shop and hanging out with her 2 best friends, Jamie and Ben. She never could have expected that instead she would become entangled in a decades-old mystery, or that she would meet Eric. Eric Quill was unlike the boys that she was so used to seeing around town. There was something odd about him, but he made her cheeks flush whenever he spoke to her. When it becomes clear that he and the strange girls she's been seeing are connected in some way, Alana knows that she needs to find out how. She dives headfirst into an investigation that leads to a hidden truth that changes everything. If that doesn't reel you in, I really don't know what will, but yeah, I just started this today, and it's going really well. I'm enjoying it, so be sure to go check it out. It is a pretty short read. I think it's like a little over 200 pages, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. The next book on my list is actually August's pick for Lost in the Plot Book Club, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Believe it or not, this is going to be my very first TJR book. I I think I'm happy with the choice. It was either going to be this or The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I have heard such good things about this, and I'm really excited to dive into it with the book club. I know that this is basically about a girl named Daisy and this other band called The Six, and they kind of blend together to become this, like, amazing, famous band, and it's basically just about their lives, the drama, the romance, everything that goes with it. But if you don't know, this is actually written like interview style, so I'll show you. You can kind of see it says like Karen, and then the next name, and then the next name, and the next name. So it's written a lot different from a normal book, but I'm really excited to try it out, and I'm excited to discuss it at the end of the month with everyone in the book club. And the last book that I do have on my August pick, I do want to read one more, but I'm not going to add it just in case. The next one I definitely want to get to is Barefoot by Ellen Hilderbrand. This has been on my list for so long, I don't really know why I haven't picked it up yet. I have seen so many people reading other books of hers, and honestly, none of them really interest me except for this one. So in this book, we follow 3 women who are going to Nantucket for the summer for vacation. They all have their jobs, and they have a lot of issues going on in each of their lives. They go through all this drama, they're friends, they go through it together, and they end up being introduced to this guy. I'm not really sure what his name is. 22-year-old Josh Flynn. So it says, Barefoot weaves these 4 lives together in a story with enthralling sweep and scope, a novel that is as fun and memorable, as bittersweet as that one perfect day of summer. I don't know, it just feels like a summer book. It feels like I need to read it, and I'm really excited. I really want to read the synopsis because there's just so much going on in this book, and I need you guys to know why I like it so much. So it says, Vicky is trying to sort through the news that she has a serious illness. Her sister Brenda has just left her job after being caught in an affair with a student, and their friend Melanie, after 7 failed in vitro attempts, is pregnant at last, only to find out that her husband's having an affair. Like, does this not sound like a soap opera in a book? I mean, I really want to read this, and I want to read it on the beach. So that is my last August pick of the month. I really hope I get to all of these. So that is it for the TBR and wrap-up portion of this video. Now I'm just going to go through and kind of briefly explain all of the books that I have recently got because I'm very excited about it. First up, Dinner List by Rebecca Searle. I have no idea what it's about, but I've read her other 2 books. It says, at one point or another, we've all been asked to name 5 people, living or dead, with whom we'd like to have dinner. Why do we choose the people we do? And what if that dinner was actually to happen? So excited. The next book is something a little bit different, and that is actually nonfiction. It's called Save the Cat Writes a Novel, because I want to be an aspiring writer. So I'm slowly going to start doing some writing prompts, do some research, but I've just really heard great things. Again, my friend Hannah actually recommended me this book. It's supposed to really help you understand how to structure a book. By the end of this book, your own imaginative beats will combine to create a story that thrills readers from start to finish. So I know it talks about dialogue, plot, the structure, the character development, all that stuff. So I'm really excited to read this just little by little and start learning because I really do want to eventually start writing a book or something. Next up we have The Paris Connection by Lorraine Brown. I've just seen this at work and it's really intrigued me. It's basically about this couple who is on a trip somewhere. They're set out to Amsterdam and they're going for a wedding, but then they actually lose each other and the girl ends up going to Paris for literally a day or like a weekend. And it says, as she takes in the glorious sights of the city and spends more time with Leo, this man that she ends up meeting, Hannah discovers that the unexpected detour might actually be leading her to the life she has always meant to live. I'm a little nervous because I'm not a fan of the cheating trope, and it does seem like that might be a thing in this book, but I just thought it would be so cute and interesting, and maybe it's something like a coming-of-age, finding yourself story. So, also I just love the cover. It's really cute. Next up we have a big chunker, and that is The Stand by Stephen King. It is so heavy. I don't even want to hold it the whole time. But this is the complete uncut version, and if you are not aware of what The Stand is about, it's basically about a form of COVID. It's basically about a pandemic that goes viral worldwide. So a patient escapes from a biological testing facility, and they're carrying a mutated strain of superflu that will wipe out 99% of the world's population within a few weeks. So there are certain people who are kind of just trying to find this person and kill them before it's too late. And as the dark man and the peaceful woman gather power, the survivals will have to choose between them and ultimately decide the fate of all of humanity. So I love Stephen King, and I think that this is going to be a really great book to read in the fall. It might take me more than a month to read. I'm going to guess at least 2 months because it's so big and the writing is so tiny. But yeah, The Stand. I've been looking forward to this for a while. Next up, we have Pack Up the Moon by Kristen Higgins. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I know what this book is about, and it is essentially about a woman, I think it's the woman who, a woman named Lauren ends up getting diagnosed with the disease. She ends up dying, and her husband is left these letters, and they're letters for him to read. I don't know if it's every month or every year. Yeah, one for every month in the year after her death. And it's supposed to help him kind of go through the anger, pain, denial, grief, all that stuff to try and find himself again and open himself up to love. Will I cry? Absolutely. Next up, we have The Wicked King. I already discussed it a little bit by The Cruel Prince, but this is the second book in the Folk of Air series. And I have no idea what's going to happen. It says, Jude has bound the Wicked King, Cardan, to her and made herself the power behind the throne. Navigating the constantly shifting political alliances of Fairy would be difficult enough if Cardan were biddable, but he does everything in his power to humiliate and undermine her. I love it. I already hated Cardan, so I don't even need to read the rest. But I'm so excited. I am really excited to finish this series because everyone seems to love it, and everyone seems to say that the next 2 books are the best. I have high hopes. And lastly, we're gonna give a shout out to my boyfriend here because he's the one who actually got this for me. I'm freaking out. A Court of Silver Flames. So it's funny because he actually already bought this for me in the hardcover around Christmas time, I think, and I wanted it in the paperback. So we returned it, and he ended up getting it for me, and I'm so excited. I'm literally so pumped. I have the entire series in a paperback now, and this is, I believe, Nesta's story, and it's going to continue. There's still going to be, I think, at least 2 more books with Nesta's story in it. So if you're not aware, in the first 3 books, we follow Feyre, and she is a mortal that ends up being captured by an immortal, brought to the Spring Court, and there's just a lot of action, a lot of drama, a lot of violence in it. And then in the second book, we are introduced more to the Night Court and the Inner Circle and Rhysand and Feyre and Rhysand, and it's just, it's great. Love it. It gets even saucier as it goes on, but this is, like I said, it's starting Nesta's story, so I'm really, really excited to own this, and thank you again, Nick. I really appreciate it. Alright, you guys, that is it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!